I wanted to ask you, actually, they're looking at Ivan Toney. Who do you think is going to get him? If it's between you and Chelsea, where do you personally see Ivan Toney going?
Arsenal. Luton. He's going Arsenal, mate. He's going Arsenal. Going Arsenal. Why would real talk, yeah? Right, the guy's 27 years old. This is his final hurrah. Why are you going to Chelsea? No disrespect, mate. Yeah, yes, they've got a load of young players that might come good, whatever. There's no guarantee they're all going to come good. Yeah, like we've just said, just because they're young players and they're all going to gel together doesn't necessarily mean they're all going to get better together. Everyone develops at a different age, at a different pace. Why would you go from Brentford to Chelsea right now, other than maybe they can pay you a bit more? Like, I'm sorry, mate. Like, if he wants to be the main man, he can be the main man at Arsenal. He can be the main man at Chelsea. Arsenal are more set up to win a title right now than Chelsea are. Yeah, we're literally 1 point off the top. Yeah, as it stands right now, Chelsea got no chance of a title. Yeah, now that's another season. He's already halfway through the season because he's banned. Yeah, now imagine he comes into Arsenal. He could be the man that gets us over the line or helps get us over the line. Straight away, bang, title. Wait, I'm not a gambler. Well, actually, I am because Henry Wright lost. Yeah, but if I was to put money on it, which I'm not going to, but if I was to put money on it, if I was to put, say, 50 quid on it, I'm putting it on him to come to Arsenal in January. Yeah, I think that we can pay him decent, though. I think we can dangle that little carrot of Eddie and Nketiah going the other way plus cash. Yeah, so it softens the blow for them losing their best player. Yeah, we could even maybe pay a little bit extra on the cash to cover the fact that Eddie's on 100 grand a week and they ain't ever going to pay him that.
No, yeah.
So we could say, right, well, we'll give you an extra 5 million. Yeah, so you pay him 60 grand a week or whatever. That extra 5 million to cover the top up for the next 2 years. Then after that, whatever. But then I think he's coming to Arsenal. I'm not going to be deluded enough to say I'm 100% convinced, but I'd say I'm 90% convinced he's coming to Arsenal. 90% as it stands right now. And I think if we sign him, yeah, well, not only has he got a point to prove because of the ban, but I think he's a top-class player anyway. Like, not just a scorer, a top-class footballer. And let's be real with this. Yeah, there's no Harry Kane here anymore. And he was third behind Kane and Erling Haaland last season. And I reckon if he comes to Arsenal, he'd bag 15 goals between January when he's allowed to play and the end of the season. I reckon he'll go on a madness, mate. Absolute madness.
Yeah, listen, I think he's a class player, and I think wherever he goes, I think he's going to be a massive success. I just think he's so much what Chelsea need. And I know they're linked to Victor Osimhen, who is class, but there is still that risk of, there's always a risk, but there's less of a risk from Prem to Prem than there is from an outside the Prem inwards. Plus, Victor Osimhen is going to be 140, 150 million pounds.
Not worth half of that, mate. Mad overhyped.
You think what is it about that's overhyped?
He's worth 140 million.
That's not like, what do you think's overhyped about him?
What I think's overhyped about him, literally next to nobody watches that league. Yeah, so they have no opinion based on that. Yeah, nobody watches Italian football. Let's just stop chatting rubbish. This ain't the 90s, Terry. Yeah, they see a load of highlight clips. Yeah, and they see Napoli go and win a title, and they hyped up that winger who's nobody's talking about anymore, by the way. Yeah, they've just sacked their manager again today, by the way. He's gone.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, true.
Yeah, but is anyone hyping up that left winger?
Oh,
they're not, are they?
Cavadonna.
Yeah, Cavadonna and that. Yeah, good one. Yeah, that's a disrespect to Maradona, bruv. Like, real talk. But everyone's hyping up him and this Cava guy. Yeah, well, sorry, mate. Nobody watches that league. Let's just be real. Nobody is watching Napoli on a Sunday night or a Saturday afternoon when the Premier League football's on. Yeah, cheers. Nobody's watching, everyone's watching Premier League football. They ain't watching Napoli against Lecce. Yeah, or Empoli. Like, come on, do me a favour, Terry. The only time these people will ever see Napoli, right, is if they're playing against Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich. Yeah, because even in the Champions League, when they're in the Champions League, everyone's watching PSG, yeah, against AC Milan or Real Madrid or Atleti or whoever. They're not watching Napoli. Turn it in. The amount of rubbish these kids chat is mad. Yeah, so then they see the highlight reels, and because he can run fast and because he's really tall, yeah, they go, and because Chelsea fans have got in their feelings because he said his favourite player growing up was Didier Drogba. They all think he's going to Chelsea. Well, apparently he's done an interview today on international duty saying, I have 2 shirts.
Man United
one is Chelsea and one is Man United.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. But this is my point. Mad overrated based on a load of hype. We've seen this with Mykhailo Mudryk. That guy was anywhere near what they paid for him. Why was he hyped? Because a load of kids got in their feelings on Twitter. Yeah, fancy him because of his little butterfly tattoo and his little heart tattoo on his ankle. Yeah, and his funky Nick Carter haircut. Yeah, and they were like, cool, he can run fast. Oh, he got a standing ovation against Real Madrid. Well, why didn't they buy him this summer then? Or in January then? Like, come on, do me a favour. He ain't worth 140 million. Yeah, he's worth less than half of that. Yeah, and I'll tell you now, if him and that left winger come to the Premier League, they're flopping. They're flopping. I said this about Jadon Sancho as well, by the way. I said he'd flop, and he's flopped. Yeah. That lad you have up front, Højlund.
Yep.
Yeah. That lad, I feel sorry for that lad. Well, I don't because he plays for your club. Actually, maybe I do because he plays for your club.
Yeah, I get that.
But that kid right there is a decent striker in the making. Yeah, and that guy if you put him at Chelsea, he'd bag for fun.
Do you know,
if you put Osimhen at Chelsea, I'm not sure he does.
I got called out in the summer when I said this. Someone quote tweeted the other day when Haaland got his 11th goal of the season, because the headline of the tweet that was put out for me was Højlund is a better footballer than Haaland. If you actually listen to it, I say that Haaland is superior in terms of finishing and will score a lot more goals. But I said when it comes to the overall play as a footballer, I think Højlund's got
like my Welbeck Salah comparison.
Sort of. But I just basically pointed out like everything I've seen from Højlund has been great so far. When we've like in the Champions League, we've actually created the chances for him, and the man's got 5 goals. He's the joint top goal scorer.
But this is my point. The guy can finish, and the guy is a handful. Yeah, and he's quick.
What I told you in the summer, his hold-up play is very good as well. And we need to do a lot more for him. But so you think Victor Osimhen will flop in the Premier League?
Yeah, I think he'll flop. I think Kvaratskhelia will flop. I think he'll flop. There's a lot of players I look at, Terry, right?
But what is it? What is it about then you think why they won't adapt to the Premier League?
Because you ain't got 30 yards to run into. Like, look at that left winger, for example, yeah? I'll come to the striker in a minute. And I know you're getting the clip ready. I know exactly what you're doing, right? I see your eyes moving. You're like, KJ. I know you too long, Terry. Right? But my point, right? Let me come to the Osimhen in a minute, yeah? With that left winger, right? That left winger, every time I've seen clips on the internet, because I don't watch Napoli, I've got no interest in watching Napoli, couldn't care less.
I think his name is pronounced something like Kvaratskhelia. I think that's how it's pronounced, something like that.
There you go. Can you spell it?
No, actually, it's up in front of me right now. I can, yeah.
But my point is, every time I've seen the footage doing the rounds and the comps that these kids put out online, he always seems to have so much space to run into. Yeah, look at Doku, for example. Yeah, Doku sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit. That is what you'll get out of this Kvaratskhelia guy in the Premier League. Doku, 4 assists, 1 goal. The next game, you drop a stinker. Yeah. Then he'll drop another stinker. Then he'll be benched for Grealish. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's just be real with it. Right. That lad, if he comes to the Premier League against the better teams in the Premier League, he's getting locked off left, right, and centre. Yeah. As for Osimhen, right, he'll look good against some of like the Burnleys and all of that. Yeah. I mean, look at Doku the other day, run right the other day against Bournemouth. Yeah. What did he do at the weekend against a competent defender in Reece James? A decent right back, probably the best. If he's fully fit, probably the best right back in the league. Yeah, locked. Just like that. Yeah, you can't run past me, mate. And if you do, Cole Palmer's just going to nick the ball back and off he goes. Do you know what I'm saying? And with that striker, from what I've seen, and again, I don't watch Napoli, I don't watch him. Yeah, but from what I've seen from the clips that are out there, again, a lot of his goals are where he's running in behind off the shoulder. A lot of them are running off the shoulder. I'm sorry, mate. How many times does that really happen in the Premier League?
I hear you.
Yeah, don't. Because a lot of teams, especially if you're playing for one of the bigger teams, they will go and park the bus against you with a back 5 with the 2 DMs sitting in as well. So that's a 7. Yeah. Or 2 banks.
So you're saying that Osimhen's kind of like, he's like the Nigerian Jamie Vardy. Needs space to run into.
Well, you can put them words in my mouth if you want. If that's the title,
But that's not a dig. But that is, I don't see it as a dig.
Oh
I
no,
see
to be fair,
because
yeah,
Jamie
the way
Vardy
I'm
was good.
describing it,
But Jamie Vardy, and that's why he still scored lots of goals. But most of Jamie Vardy's
he's
goals,
a better footballer than Jamie Vardy. Put it that way. But yes, the comparison, fair enough. Yeah,
so if again, this I suppose this is when I'm trying to understand what you mean. So if he's better than Jamie Vardy, when you say he'll flop in the Prem, do you think he'll just flop for 140 million? But if he was a 70 million pound player,
I
it'd be good.
He's a better footballer overall than Jamie Vardy. The problem is Jamie Vardy can't do anything in the Premier League because he's in the Championship. But look at Jamie Vardy's age. Jamie Vardy peaked very late. Yeah, and football 5 years ago or 7 years ago is extremely different to how it is now. Yeah, now it's all about inverted and blocking this and hybrids this and like, come on, man. Jamie Vardy run amok when they won the league. Mahrez to Vardy every time. It was crazy. You can't do that so much anymore. Yeah, no. And the price tag obviously comes into it because when you come for a big fee, you have to do it. Look at the German giraffe we got walking around eating gummy bears on the pitch and that. Like, come on. Like, it's crazy. No, it's crazy. But you have to do it. And I genuinely do think if Osimhen's going to go anywhere, I think, and there's a few Madrid fans in this chat as well, right? I think he'd do all right at Madrid. Yeah, because he'd have more space. He's got a decent, and when I say decent, he is a decent Jude Bellingham, a number 10. And I think that's a masterstroke from Ancelotti playing in number 10. Yeah, you've got a decent number 10, yeah, playing behind you, and you've got two competent wingers there in Rodrigo and Vinny. Yeah, whereas I look at Chelsea and I just think, like, where's the competent winger? Yeah, where's the decent number 10? Yeah, you're not going to get as many chances as you are at Napoli. Yeah, when you do get the chances, they're not going to be the same type of chance. So whilst you look good on the highlight reels, this is a different league, mate. Yeah, look at Darwin Núñez. Darwin Núñez is a great example, yeah? 36 goals before he signed for Liverpool in one season. How many is he getting now? Totally different ball game, mate. Different system, different players, and he's playing with better players. Yeah, but different system, different league, faster pace, yeah, less space, which is why, and he was unlucky at the weekend, like he scored 2 goals. One was like a Rizzler paper offside, and the other bicycle kick, like obviously he's offside, but you're not getting so much space in behind. And that's why I think that some of these players that everyone hypes up, they'd flop. Yeah, there's a player, and I've been hyping him up, and he is quality. But I'm not hyping him up because he can run fast. Well, he can run fast, but because he's got really good feet. But again, I think he'd flop, and that's the left winger at Atleti, Riquelme. That kid is unreal. Unbelievable footballer. Right? He was dribbling past everyone the other night, like prime Messi. Yeah, but you put him in the Premier League, he'd flop. Yeah, because the Premier League ain't about a tricky technical footballer anymore. It's about pace and power. He's got the pace, he ain't got the power.
So do you think Messi would flop if he came here now at 18?
Messi's a different breed. Come on, Messi's one of a kind, mate. He's one of a kind. Messi could do anything anywhere, man. That guy is the best footballer ever.
No, I get that. Listen, I hear where you're coming from, and we are. It does feel like we're in a bit of an era now where your athleticism and your power and your explosiveness is so key. Let's get to some of these super chats that have come in here. This says Tony will go to Arsenal, Osimhen to Chelsea, Super Scout Obi Mikel will make it happen. Did you hear Obi Mikel's story, by the way? Roman just saying, if I send my people, your dad comes back. That's just some taken shit.
And you know he ain't fucking about either.
No, but I would. You know, in fairness, I'll make this claim, and I could be wrong. I reckon every billionaire has those kind of connections. When you got that kind of money, you could pay for anything. Do you know what I mean?
How's Donald Trump still alive?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's true. Arsenal. We'll come back to. Oh no, Arsenal were not deemed to be in a title race until March. Yet Spurs feel there's an agenda against them. The fact that no one thinks they're going to be winning the title and always bottling it. Thank you, Ian. I agree.
Yeah, but they're a weird bunch, man. They are a weird bunch, that fan base. They're more interested in pretty football that amounts to nothing rather than boring winning football. Yeah, like, you know, it is what it is. Harry Redknapp sold him dreams a few years ago. Do you know what I mean?
No, he did. He certainly did. Guys, please help give me hope that my Barca doesn't end up like Man United. Also, Chelsea, thanks for the game. I don't think
they're just finally coming around to reality that Barca ain't all that, yeah? Like I said at the start of the season, yeah?
Here's
they're
one for
literally nicking wins. They're nicking wins. Yeah, they're nicking wins. They are so trash to watch it. It's crazy.
What about Rafael Leao at Milan? Do you rate him?
I think I think he'd do better than Cava. And the reason I think he'd do better than Cava is because I don't think he needs 100 yards to run into. Yeah, I think we've seen, again, I don't watch that league, but I've watched more AC Milan than I ever will Napoli. Yeah, and I think that he has got a lot more about his football and about his game. Yeah, and not only that, like I said, he don't need 100 yards to run into. Yeah, that guy don't just have to play on the left either. That guy's got more about him. He could play up front. He can be a false nine. Yeah, I think he's a decent player. Yeah, I think he'd do all right. I don't think he'd be hyped up the way he is in that league right now by fans that are so-called fans that are watching the Italian league. Right? But if he came to the Premier League, he wouldn't be as hyped. He wouldn't be as hyped.